Okay, we are live, and I am starting the live by going onto my balcony so that we can clap for the NHS. Sasha wants to say hello. Sasha, hang on. There's my little daughter Sasha. Can you hear the clapping starting? Where's Daddy?
I'm here.
We need you to clap. Woo! Hang on. Can you hear all the clapping? Thank you, NHS! Sasha? Who's driving and who's... Thank you NHS! What a great noise! Yes, they can hear us.
But how do they hear it?
Because the whole of London is clapping.
But not all the other night it was the whole of London.
Not the whole of London, the whole of the England, the whole country is clapping. Do you want to get a drum? Do we have a drum?
We have a guitar.
Woo! Thank you! I will start the Facebook Live in a minute. We just want to say thank you. Clapping for our carers, clapping for the NHS. It is 8 o'clock here in London, and every Thursday at 8 o'clock we clap for our carers. We clap for the NHS, the National Health Service. Who? There's lights turning on and off here. Yeah, this is amazing, and the gratitude for the NHS. Okay, so I'm going to leave my husband and daughter to continue clapping. I'm going to start my Facebook Live. Thank you, NHS, thank you! I've got goosebumps for you. Starting with clapping for the carers, clapping for the NHS, and then I'm going to be diving into helping you guys. Just going to finish clapping. Okay, I'm going to leave my husband and daughter to continue the clapping. When I scheduled this for 8 o'clock, I didn't realise that it was going to be a weekly thing, the clap for our carers. But anyone who's watching internationally, just a minute, let me just put my computer down and shut the door. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, wow. That was absolute goosebumps. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. I set the time for this Facebook Live before I realised that it was going to be the exact same starting time as Clap for Our Carers. This is something we're doing here in the UK. It's a weekly thing during the pandemic. Every Thursday at 8 o'clock in the evening, we are all on our doorsteps, our balconies, our front gardens, and we are clapping together collectively to say thank you to our NHS, stands for National Health Service, for any of you that live abroad and don't know. Thank you for everything they are doing for caring for us all as a nation and putting themselves on the front line. So when I realised that the Facebook Live was set to kick off at the same time as clapping, I was like, well, I've got to clap too. We're going to start the Facebook Live with the clapping. Yes, mate, loving the clap emojis. Give me your clapping emojis, guys. So I haven't done a Facebook Live on the Main Smashing the Glass Facebook page for about a week now, and every week there's news, there's different things happening. And what I've noticed this last week, the last 7 days, the most is that people who are getting married later on in 20, say summer onwards, even autumn, fall, October, November, December, are starting to get concerned and worried about what they should be doing with their wedding plans. So I wanted to come on and address all of that, and I also wanted to be able to personally answer any questions. If you have any questions about your unique situation, so I'm just taking my shoes off, I'm hot now, I'm inside. If you have any questions about your unique situation, put them in the comments. If you want to talk to me direct, you do have the opportunity to do that inside our Brides Club. I'll put the link in the comments for anyone that's not yet a member. Every Sunday inside Brides Club, I do a call like this, but on Zoom, so that we can all talk and chat, and you can talk to me one-to-one about your situation. Because of the pandemic at the moment, and I want everyone to benefit, everyone is eligible to get their 30 free days inside Brides Club, so it's totally free to join if you want to talk to me one-to-one. Equally, put something in the comments if you've got a question. I want to help as much as I can. So let me tell you what I'm going to be covering, and please feel free to ask me anything at any time as well. So I'm going to be covering, first of all, I'm going to be talking to our lovely couples who are planned to get married in the next 8 weeks, say anytime in April or May, even the first week of June, the steps you need to take. Then I'm going to be talking to you if you are, and also to those couples, I suggest postponing, and I will also be taking you through the steps you need to take if you decide to postpone your wedding. Then I'm going to be talking to the couples who have weddings planned for June 2020 right through to December 2020, what you need to be doing and what you need to be thinking about. Also going to be talking about deposits, what you should expect in terms of getting them back. Every vendor has a different policy. There's no set in stone policy about deposits. They've all got different ways of working and different contracts, but I can only tell you what I can suggest. And then I'm also going to talk to you about another questions that's been coming. Basically, I'm just responding to all the questions that have been coming into me on Instagram and email and direct message and what I'm hearing in our Brides Club. And I wanted to put it together all in one nice Facebook Live. So the other thing I'm going to be doing is talking to you about what to do if you've got your ketubah already and it's got the date on it and you don't know what to do, and also any kippot or anything with your new date, with your previous date on it, what to do. And by the way, I've got so much to say. Let me get started. Please put your questions in the comments or anything you want to ask me. I am here for you. So let's get started. So what are we going to do if we are supposed to be getting married in May or June of this year? So, or April even. So forget June, I'm getting carried away with myself. April, May of this year. Next 8 weeks, basically. So unfortunately, you're caught up in the historic coronavirus era. You'll be telling your grandchildren what happened to you and your wedding plans, because essentially the CDC in America has recommended cancellations of weddings for the next 8 weeks in the USA. Here in the UK, the government has stopped mass gatherings, not even mass gatherings, small gatherings. Really, I think only 5 people, including the couple, may be present for ceremonies, but that's changing all the time. So not only that, if your wedding's planned internationally in a destination, there are so many global travel bans in place. So essentially, if your wedding is within the next 8 weeks, you should seriously consider postponing now, not hanging on for too long, because the longer you delay the postponement, you risk not being able to postpone because vendors have already purchased materials, or they've begun working on your wedding services, or it's just too late to get any kind of money back. You may even have to pay additional costs. So, and not only that, it's such a stressy period. You must be constantly glued to the news, and also your guests, you're going to start to get lots of emails from your guests, and it's just better to postpone not ideal, but you know what? All that matters in the end is that you've got each other, that you've got your soulmate. You found your soulmate. It's the hardest thing in the world to find love. Trust me. I didn't meet my soulmate till I was 37, or no, 36. Actually, 1 month off being 36. I was almost 36. And it's such a difficult thing in this crazy world of ours to find your soulmate. You found your soulmate, and you're going to go on life's greatest adventure together. And this is part of the adventure, by the way. So it's a great test for marriage as well, going through all this. So there's some silver linings, and we've got to focus on those. And you will get married. Your wedding will be incredible. People will party even harder. They will hug even tighter. They will drink even more. They will laugh even more, because we will appreciate it even more. So your wedding is going to be incredible. But I suggest anyone with a date in the next 8 weeks to postpone, and I'm going to talk you through the steps of postponing as well. I know a lot of you probably already have, but I just want to talk through just in case. I know there's a few people that are still undecided. Now look, the other thing you can do is still get married, but have a really, really, really small ceremony and have a Zoom wedding. If you head to our Instagram feed, I'll actually put the link in the comments now. You'll see one such couple did this last weekend. Rachel and Oren. Hopefully we're featuring their full wedding on Smashing the Glass. Rachel and Omer. Hopefully we're featuring their full wedding over on Smashing the Glass soon, because it's an incredible one. They got married, had a chuppah outdoors with just 2 or 3 people present, but they did arrange a Zoom meeting software to include 100 guests. So they had everyone interacting. I think they got their guests to dress up for the wedding, even though they're at home. And that's what they did. And, you know, I think in their own words, they said that she said, we got ready together in our own home in Tel Aviv. I did my own hair and makeup, even though I suck at manicures. Then we went downstairs to the park just for our building and got married there. And it was intimate and exciting at the same time. Our friends and family were watching live on Zoom, and they all said it was such a lovely morning because they got to dress up, have a glass of wine, and celebrate with us from their living room. And to be honest, we could actually feel their love through the screen. It was amazing. So there's all kinds of love, and as I've been saying all the time, love can never be cancelled. There's all kinds of ways to celebrate. There's all kinds of ways to get married. So if that appeals, that's an option if you're getting married in the next 8 weeks. I have a question from Esty. I will come to that, Esty. Please leave all your questions. I promise I'll get to all of them. I might actually, this has given me some ideas. I did actually release a document this week about everything you need to know if you're getting married in 2020. But I'm making a note to myself, because what I didn't add was the option to have a Zoom wedding. And I'm going to add that in after this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to update that document. And if anybody wants everything that I'm saying in writing, say me in the comments, and I will contact you and send you the link to download the free resource about everything that I'm saying about. But I just want to update it first with the concept of the Zoom wedding. I think that's really, really cute. I didn't actually put that in my first version, which I released a couple of days ago. So Zoom weddings are an option, and I've heard about 1 or 2, and we will be featuring those entire weddings on Smashing the Glass to show you what's possible. And let's talk about the steps of postponing the wedding. And after I talked about the steps, I will then move on to couples who are getting married beyond June 2020 and what you should be thinking about or doing right now. So if you want to postpone your wedding, if you decide that that's the right step for you, you want to, number one, check with your insurance. And by the way, I know that I've also heard stories of you not being that decision maker, but that venues actually telling you you've got to postpone your wedding. We cannot hold your wedding. So sometimes it's not even in your power, the postponement. It's coming from the venue, and I know that's really, really tough. But I'm here to support you in so many ways. At the end of this, I'll also tell you how we're supporting brides-to-be through the COVID-19 pandemic, and also how we're supporting vendors as well. So I'll tell you all that at the end. So if you want to postpone, number one, check with your insurance if you have it. I know not everyone's taken out insurance, and if you haven't taken it out for this date, do make sure you get it out for the new date, okay? Don't beat yourself up. Not all of us have got insurance. It's okay. But if you don't have insurance, do make sure you get it for your new date. If you do have insurance, get in touch with your insurance company to find out exactly how the policy does or doesn't function for these current circumstances. Every policy is different. I can't sit here telling you, you know, what will or won't apply. It's literally a case of getting in touch with your insurance provider. From every story I've heard, unfortunately, it won't cover coronavirus entirely. Okay, but it may cover the difference in cost from vendors. It also depends on what stage of planning you're at and if the venue's contacted you about it and all kinds of things. So just check with your insurance. And as I say, if you didn't have insurance, don't beat yourself up, but definitely get insurance for your new date. The next thing you want to do is speak with your venue about the postponement. Number one, the venue. Now, a lot of us have some planners and you want to probably involve them as well. No doubt they are working side by side with you, but really it all starts with the venue. And if you're getting married in a separate venue to the reception, to the ceremony, you'll also need to be in touch, obviously, with both. You want to try and get everything in writing for future reference, and you want to choose a date in the future that you're comfortable with. A lot of them are already getting booked up, no surprise, which is another reason why I said postpone sooner rather than later if you're getting married in the next 8 weeks, because so many of these dates are flat out booked out. So you may need to switch to a weekday wedding in order to secure a time of year that suits you. And you know what? I really think weekday weddings are going to be the new black. Like, it's going to be cool. We're all going to be attending weekday weddings because there's simply not enough dates to carry over all these postponements. And that's great. We're all going to be delighted to attend. A weekday, a wedding, a beautiful wedding on a Tuesday afternoon in November is just as meaningful and symbolic and special and unforgettable as a Sunday wedding in August or July or June. They are all beautiful, okay? So don't worry if you don't get your ideal date. Let's focus on what's important: our health, our sanity, finding love, nourishing our relationships, staying safe, looking after others, not taking things for granted, all that stuff, okay? That's what's important. So don't worry, don't get upset about your new date if it's not an ideal date, okay? That's really, really important to focus on and not take to heart. Again, if you've got any questions about that, ask me. If you want to get something off your chest about that, ask me. If you're having issues, and unfortunately I have heard of a few venues who are not acting in a way that is personable or considerate or kind. Of course there are businesses, of course we're all the vendors are businesses, all the venues are businesses, but we're all in this together and there's ways of dealing with it, you know, good communication from the venue, a human touch and all that. So, but I have heard of one or two venues who are literally just, you know, refusing to postpone, refusing to even speak on the phone with some of the couples at all, just being cold, almost rude about it. One or two, I mean, 99% of venues I'm hearing fantastic feedback about. But if your venue is refusing to postpone or not working with you hand in hand, or you're unsure about any of their policies, I suggest seeking legal advice. Have someone look over your contracts, help you get a helping hand. We all know a lawyer or two, and if you don't, email me. I can help recommend one. So in terms of the new date, here's what you want to think about when you're thinking about a postponement date. Number one, sounds obvious, but when are you available? Number two, when are your nearest and dearest, the people that you can't imagine not being at your wedding, can they do that date? Are they available on a specific date? The next thing you want to think about is obviously the venue date. So those three have to sync: you, your families, your loved ones, and your venue. And then you also may want to check with the vendors that are most important to you. So you probably should make a list of your vendors and divide them into two lists. The ones that you can't imagine not being your vendors, like under any circumstances, and the ones that you're happy to exchange if for any reason they can't make your new date. And you want to contact the A-list ones first and see if they can make the date. And if they can, you've got your new date. and you can start telling your guests about it, your new date. So I recommend letting your guests know as soon as you've officially decided to postpone your date. Whether you've got that new date or not, I recommend you, if you know you're going to find out your new date in a matter of days, wait and just one lot of communication. But if you're decided to postpone but you still don't know your new date and you won't know it for some weeks, communicate straight away. It's really considerate to do that. You can do it by email, but if possible, a phone call is really the proper thing to do. Obviously, in this day and age and with guests all over the world, I know that's not, easy or an obvious thing to do, but if you can, it's a very nice thing to do. Inside our Brides Club, our Smash in the Glass Brides Club, we've got some sample text ideas that other brides have shared, different ways of writing how to postpone to your guests and different ways of saying it. There is also some advice by Marcy Bloom, who is a wonderful wedding planner in New York City. I read something she wrote, and she advises that the best thing that you can possibly do, since you now have all the time in the world, is to write handwritten notes to your guests, telling them about the postponement. Maybe, this is her words, she's saying maybe it would take you 2 hours, a day or a week, but wouldn't it be nice for them to really feel loved and understand why you wanted them there? It will make people even happier to be there, knowing that you reached out to them during this time in a really elegant, thoughtful way. Now, most of us, it seems too overwhelming to think about that, but I wanted to mention that because one or two of you may think, yeah, I've got the time. It makes my guests feel special and wanted and excited. I'm going to do it. So I just wanted to mention that too. I can see the questions. I will answer them. I just want to get through everything and then I'll come and answer all your questions one by one. Let's move on to if your wedding is planned beyond the next 8 weeks, so June 2020 onwards. Now, this is a different situation to the next 8 weeks because of the government guidelines, because of the travel bans. We cannot hold weddings right now, but beyond 8 weeks, we just don't know what the situation is. No one has the answers. Some say it's still fine, the weddings will go on as is, not to worry, but really no one knows. No one can give you that definite answer. It's, if you're getting married in July, it'll be fine. If you're getting married in October, it'll be fine. We like to think it'll be fine, but we don't know because everything changes every day, every week. So my advice to you is this. If you find yourself in a constant state of worry about your wedding plans, be your date be in the summer or the October or even December or even January 2021, communicate this with your planner as a point A, if you have one. If you don't have a planner, communicate it with your venue and see what they have to say about it. And I would see absolutely no harm in making a plan B, a soft plan B, which means you inquire about your plan B and you make soft plans for a plan B, which means that you don't actually book anything or move anything, but you feel comfortable with the fact that you know what your plan B is should you need it, okay? And then you know that you can just flick that switch if and when you need to. And what you want to do with the venue about the plan B is say to them, okay, that's a good plan B, let's say moving it to X date. By what date do I need to let you know about that I want to move it? By what date? And then on that date, you have to put that date in your diary in writing and make a decision by that date. And you can, by all means, listen to news in healthy doses. I only switch onto the news once a day to understand what's happening and the briefings, and that's it. So keep in touch with news and don't oversaturate yourself, but keep in touch and make educated decisions around that. But either way, do call your venue to see what your options are, especially as you approach your 30 to 60 days out, because that's when the final deposits are due. So that's your kind of number one thing to do. But I want to emphasize, if you're not worried at all about your date and it's June, July onwards, nothing for you to do, okay? This is just for those that are anxious and antsy and what ifs and all that. You don't need to feel like that. You contact your venue, you contact your vendors, you speak to them about a plan B, and you know that you have that in place should you need it, and that you know by what date you need to make that decision. I would also say if your date's not till, for some months, do carry on booking vendors, absolutely. And I'm hearing about brides booking vendors day in, day out, which is great, but just ask them what their policy is and about COVID-19. What would happen to your booking and your deposit if you had to cancel or postpone due to COVID-19, so that you feel enlightened. You also want to use this time, you want to prioritize your health, your wellness, your self-care, get plenty of sleep, get plenty of fresh air, get plenty of whatever it is that makes you feel calm, okay? I know for me and my family, I've got 2 young girls, we do exercise every day, we get our fresh air, we eat well, I'm trying to sleep well, although that's not so easy because of my 2 girls. I'm not having much time to work during the day, so I'm doing a lot of work in the evening and I've been getting some overly late nights. I'm trying to work on that. But you want to prioritize your self-care during this period. You can book vendors, you can think about your music, you can think about speeches, you can think about accessories, you can think about your look, you can still plan, okay? And you can also still schedule calls with your vendors, video calls if possible. I'm sure your vendors are looking to give you great customer service right now, so stay in touch with them, speak to them, and enjoy the process as much as you can. I know it's not ideal in the slightest, and I bet some of you are envious of brides that just enjoyed every stage of their wedding planning right up until the big day, and then you've got this black cloud over it all. But this is life, and life throws us curveballs, and it's not going to be the last curveball that life throws at us all. And the way we deal with these curveballs sets us up for later on in life and sets us up for healthy marriage as well. So that's the silver lining in all this, that this is a great little test or gift from the universe, as it were, to test you and make you stronger and have the best marriage ever and a good marriage, and know what's important in your marriage, because it's not just about the one day. Obviously, it's all about life and togetherness and love can never be cancelled. So a couple more things and then I'll move into questions. Do continue asking your questions. I can see there's quite a few. I'll get to all of them. Couple more things I want to talk about. Number 1, can you get your deposits back? So every vendor's got their own policy on these. There is not a blanket answer to this. From my point of view, what I'm going to say to you is you shouldn't expect to receive a deposit back. But if you are postponing with that same vendor, they will put that deposit back to the new, booking, as it were. And again, this is not a blanket rule, but you can look to not expect to add to that balance until the new scope of work is established and the event is rescheduled. But try and preserve your deposits by staying with that vendor. I know it's not easy because not every vendor can make your second date, but ideally that's the deposit will go to the second date, but do not expect to receive your deposit back, especially for someone like a plan but really a lot of vendors have done work to earn that deposit. Some of them, I know, they've just taken a deposit to secure a date and you haven't even met them or you haven't done anything together. It's up to the individual, but let's all be kind to our vendors. This is a really, really tough time for them. Their earnings are to keep their family safe, keep everyone safe, and it's tough for them. Of course, if money grew on trees, they'd hand you back that deposit, but it's tricky. I think vendors should come from a point of understanding and empathy, but also, they are running businesses and it's about a conversation. Try and take it to the phone if things are not going your way, because email often results in defense and attack, whereas phone, you get that human touch and you can talk together and see what can be worked out. I also want to say, be wary of using the word cancel when speaking to your vendors. Ideally use the word postpone, and ideally postpone to repurpose your investments. What I also want to say quickly about ketubas and kipot, and then I will move into questions, and then I will also tell you about how I can further support you. So I did have a note about the ketubas and the kipot. Where did I write it? There it is. So I've been getting a lot of emails, DMs, little Facebook messages saying, what should I do? Oh, by the way, one other thing that I want to mention about also halachically, can you postpone your wedding? And the answer is yes. Health comes over every other Jewish rule, tradition, whatever. It's halachically okay to postpone your wedding. Every rabbi will have a different opinion, but it really is okay to postpone your wedding for these reasons, halachically. So your ketubah and your kippot, they've probably got, some of you have got them printed already with your old date. What can you do? Ketubah, number one, speak to your ketubah designer. I'd say 100% of the ketubah designers that we're in touch with and that we recommend at Smashing the Glass. And if you want to know the ones we recommend, just go to smashingtheglass.com, find a vendor, and you'll see they are all working closely with their clients to work on either for a very, very small fee, changing it up, reprinting it with a new date, or working in some way to make sure you have the ketubah with a correct date in it. So do reach out to your ketubah designer. With a kippot, also reach out to your original kippah vendor, see what they say. If they are not helpful or they're not able to rectify things, you can print little stickers with a new date and just stick them inside the kippot. And again, no one's going to notice. Everyone's going to be so thrilled to be with you, and it's a story to tell. So don't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to answer questions now. As Esty, I paid my vendors in full, but let my vendors know that I wanted to postpone the wedding and have a small ceremony before anything was paid for on their end. Now that I had let me read that again. I paid my vendors in full, but let my vendors know that I wanted to postpone the wedding and have a small ceremony before anything was paid in full. Now that I had the small wedding, I'm over all the wedding planning and would just like my money back for what we were unable to accomplish. Do you have any tips on how to approach this with the vendors, and what are they responsible to give back? So depends on kind of what's in writing, really. You want to have conversations with your vendors. There isn't a blanket rule like this. Every vendor is a unique business who has their own set of rules, and that's why you've got different contracts and individual contracts with every vendor. What I would do if I were USD is I would pick up the phone. I wouldn't do it over email. I would pick up the phone and I'd have a conversation and talk it out, and see where you can get to with it. Maybe with a photographer, maybe you can suggest putting it towards a photo shoot or something. Maybe you can repurpose some of that income in different ways, gift tokens, whatever it is, if they're not willing to give it all back. But there isn't a rule that I can say to you, they're responsible for giving you back ABC, without seeing your contract, of course, because I need to see a contract to understand what's responsible. So look at your contracts, have a conversation on the phone, come from a point of understanding one another, and see what you can do about either repurposing the income, or maybe some of them will understand that they're not now needed if that wasn't spelled out in your contract, and you may be able to get some money back. I don't know. Speak to them on the phone. Esty, I actually did a Facebook Live wedding with a small ceremony, another alternative to Zoom. Oh, Esty, do please email me some pictures to Karen@smashingtheglass.com. I would love to see. I'm very interested in publishing these Zoom weddings on Smashing the Glass to show everyone what's possible. Love and celebration comes in all different formats and all ways. That's what we do here at Smashing the Glass. We show what's possible, from tiny little weddings to lavish, super luxe, enormous celebrations. They're all special, they're all meaningful, they're all symbolic, and we want to showcase them all on Smashing the Glass. So please email me, Karen@smashingtheglass.com, so I can see some images from your wedding and tell me a little bit about your wedding, where you had it, and a little paragraph or two. That would be great. And Mazal Tov. Lauren, why wouldn't a venue open their diary beyond a certain time to book a new date? My venue won't look beyond May 2021 for rescheduling. So that most places only want to book a year out to repurpose your money. I think it's something to do with putting your deposit towards a new date. It has to be within a year. But if any planners are watching and they can shed any light on that, please do comment and help Lauren. Lucy, would you check with the insurance providers even before you know if you need to cancel. What do you mean by even before you know? Oh, you mean even if you need to change a date? Yes, check with your insurance providers what the policy is and under what conditions do you get money back, under what conditions do you not get money back, what are you covered for, what are you not covered for. Knowledge is power. Be in the know. I'm finding that most anxiety and stress is caused by inaction. So, that's why the brides that have their weddings in the summer are kind of more stressed than the ones in the coming weeks who have an action plan, because you're just kind of not knowing and not able to do anything. But if you do some action points, like speak to your insurers, find out what's possible, speak to your venue, speak to your vendors. That tends to be a better feeling than just what's happening and I don't know, and it feels like everything's raveling out of your control, rather than you are actually in control of your wedding plans and you can decide and you can speak. So yes, I do recommend that. Lucy, the wedding is in August, so should I check now? Yes, check what the policy is. Any other questions? While I'm waiting for questions, I want to tell you a little bit about how Smashing the Glass is helping brides like you going through what you're going through, and also how we're helping wedding vendors who are also having a unprecedented time. They're normally busy and working on events with brides, working very closely, and everything's sort of frozen for them, and we are helping wedding vendors. So how is Smashing the Glass helping brides? So I'm trying to do as much of this kind of free content as possible. We're doing regular Facebook Lives, we're doing regular blog posts. I think the last 2 blog posts on Smashing the Glass are all about COVID-19 and what to do. We are also mixing it up with plenty of uplifting wedding content. We know you want to see that, you want to be lifted and inspired, and gorgeous wedding content is still there. So we're providing a lot of stuff on Instagram and Facebook and the blog and all that good stuff. But I know we like to dive deeper with brides too. And that's why 2 years ago we set up our Brides Club, and inside the Brides Club is just the place to be right now. And I'm so grateful that we set this Brides Club up, because what's happening now in there is just incredible. So what is happening there? So first of all, every Sunday I'm holding weekly chat sessions on Zoom for members of the club. You can get one-to-one advice from me on your unique situation. You can also connect with other brides-to-be going through exactly what you're going through, hear what they're saying, and getting advice from them on whether it's like the texts for how to postpone, or just what they're doing if they're getting married in the same month as you, and all that kind of thing. I love guiding the community, but it's really all the brides and the support in there that makes it such a powerful resource. We've also got lots of resources dropping in all the time. We've got something called Quarantine Camp happening in there. This is an initiative that was started by one of the members, and we just kind of took hold of it and said, yes, we're going all in with it. And basically one of our lovely members, Orly, she's 3 months into her 10-month yoga teacher training, and she suggested the idea of perhaps doing some yoga sessions for the brides on Facebook Live while we're all stuck at home quarantining with time, and let's help one another. And she had this idea that maybe other brides could do the same thing. So that's what we did. We opened it out, and we've got so many amazing sessions. Some have happened already, some are happening. And this is just the brides going live either on Facebook in the group or via Zoom, teaching the other brides and me, obviously, things in there. Everything from, learning French, singing classes, beginners weightlifting, Hebrew conversation. What else we had? We had a lovely member yesterday who works at Facebook. She taught us all these amazing Instagram story hacks. We have, what have we got coming up? Let me put the full list in. There's so many amazing things. I cannot tell you. I'm so proud of this amazing hive mind. Later today, we've got positive psychology with Sarah. She's going to be teaching us about that. We have got hang on, let me just bring up the others. I can't tell you how amazing it's been. We have Jenna, she's going to be doing more. She did one of these last week. She's going to be doing more classes. How to make challah dough to make your own challah, and then a separate one, how to braid it properly. We had Hayley doing how to make a positivity box for lockdown. I mean, it's just been amazing. Obviously, all the recordings are there if you haven't, if you want to catch up on any of the ones that already happened. We've also got once a week virtual happy hour where we come on with our quarantinees, and wherever we are in the world, we join on Zoom and we just chat and talk and, you know, Passover plans and whatever's happening with us, wherever we are all over the world. So it's just an amazing support for brides, as well as being an amazing online community. It's normally very wedding focused, but obviously now it's changed and we are supporting in every way possible, be that entertainment with quarantine camp, connection and community with Passover plans, and we're having a virtual, I was going to do a virtual Seder, but it seems like everybody's already doing a virtual Seder with their family. So we're doing a matzah brei brunch. I'm going to be cooking matzah brei with my 2 little girls, and we're going to be Zooming and everyone's going to be joining in, and it really is like fellow women all over the world going through what you're going through, going not just through this pandemic, but I mean going through similar milestones. So it's just such a wonderful community. If you'd like to join, I'll put the links in the comments. It's brides.smashingtheglass.com. You get the next 30 days completely free if you haven't taken that up already. It's 30 days. You can't get more than 30 days. Somebody wanted to get more, and it's like, that's a lot, you know. You'll get a lot of value for that. So you can come out at any time if it's not for you, or if you decide after 30 days you don't want to continue. If you do want to continue, it's $29 a month or £22 a month after the 30 days. There's no tie-in, there's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time if it's not for you, but come in, give it a whirl and see if you get any benefit, and I'd love to be able to help. In terms of wedding vendors, so we're supporting our wedding vendors intensely. This is a very, very tough time for wedding vendors, having to rethink their businesses, pivot their businesses, make income now, like new cash flow, while a lot of the events are postponed. You know, yes, it's going to be a very busy autumn winter 2021, but right now it's not busy, and we are helping them with ideas for secondary income, for what kind of content to create on social media, connections, you know, what to post when you really probably don't feel like posting, you're just busy homeschooling and dealing with your kids, and the last thing you do is feel like going on Instagram. We're helping them with all that kind of thing. So many ways, and we're doing weekly Zoom sessions with our Smashing the Glass vendors as well. If you're interested in being a Smashing the Glass vendor and you're not yet, just email me, Karen@smashingtheglass.com. So that's it. Lucy, did I answer your question okay? Have you got any more? Hi Leslie, good to see you. I miss you. Maria, good to see you. Melissa, Anna, Ashley, Jenna, love these girls. Michelle Jacobs, hi. Tess, Elisheva, Orly, mentioned you Orly earlier. Dorothy, Amy, Yael, Emily, so many of you. And also if you're just joining, I'll be closing up shortly, and do make sure you watch from the beginning, especially if you're not a Brit, because we opened at 8 o'clock with clapping. You could hear the whole of London clapping. We opened with that, so don't miss it. Have a watch of that. So that's it from me. I can't see any more questions. I hope I've helped. I can do these again. I can do these as often as you like. I just want to help as many of you as possible. So drop me some feedback, Karen@smashingtheglass.com, and stay safe, stay well, stay healthy, look after yourselves, eat well, sleep well, exercise, get your fresh air, move your body around. I find that's what makes me feel the best part of the day is when I'm doing exercise. And I'm not an exercise person, trust me. Before all this, I was like, I've got to prioritize exercise. I've got to get exercise. I'm a working mom. I'm very busy. I know exercise should be a priority, but it hasn't been up until now. And now it's like, it's the best part of the day when I can move my body around. We do PE with Joe Wicks at 9 o'clock every morning as a family, and we love it. And then we do some yoga afterwards, and it just sets us up for the day. So yeah, so that's it from me. I've really enjoyed it today. I hope you have too, and I hope I've helped. Lots and lots of love, and see you guys soon. Bye.